Well, while the nation is gripped with so many crises, the pandemic, even worse, the lockdown in response to the pandemic, even worse, the massive spending and borrowing that will take decades to pay down, Justin Trudeau did the most bizarre thing, unplanned, unpromised. So out of the blue, he stuck a dagger into anyone's wallet that spends money on energy, on transportation. And that's for everyone in the country, but that dagger actually was aimed at the heart of Alberta and Saskatchewan and the other oil-producing provinces. I'm talking about Trudeau's shocking decision to raise the carbon tax to $170 a ton, more than triple what is now. Can you imagine doing that to a country that is economically as reeling as our own is now? Joining us now to talk about it is the Alberta Director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, Franco Terrazzano, who joins us now. You're in Calgary, am I right, Franco?
Yep, I'm in Calgary right now.
That is the center of the bullseye for the carbon tax. That city has had either the highest or amongst the highest unemployment rate for years in this country. It used to be the opposite. Out of the blue, this shot at the oil patch, what on earth is the justification for this?
Well, certainly I think the place that we have to start here is a simple truth, and that's that the Trudeau government lied to us. Leading up into the last election, former Environment Minister Catherine McKenna, she told us that the government has no intention of increasing the carbon tax beyond what they already told us about. Well, guess what? Turns out that was a lie. But it's not just Trudeau's former environment minister, because Trudeau himself is breaking a promise. I mean, it was only a few months ago that he told us that he wasn't going to be increasing taxes, that he wasn't going to be saddling Canadians with higher costs. And now we find out that there's going to be a massive carbon tax hike. So this is absolutely not courageous. Really, it's the opposite. It's gutless. What would have been courageous if Trudeau actually looked us in the eye and he told us that he was going to soak Canadian families for an extra $30 when they go up to fill their minivans in carbon taxes. So it really is a betrayal. And as you pointed out, I mean, it's coming at probably the worst possible time for this.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the economy has had such a shock to the system. Frankly, the decline in economic activity, if you care about carbon dioxide emissions, and I'm a skeptic of the theory of man-made global warming, but you should be cheering because of this human misery actually has caused less emissions because we're living smaller, people are going bankrupt. So for those who value that, hooray, congratulations, this is what you wanted. But to do that on top of all the misery feels so punitive, and I can't help but think that just a few weeks ago there was all this kerfuffle in the media about something the World Economic Forum calls the Great Reset, which is, get off carbon fuels, get onto shopping from Amazon and this strange digital-only life. Justin Trudeau was talking about the Great Reset at a UN press conference, and all these mainstream media types were saying, oh, that's not real, that's a conspiracy theory. And out of the blue, he does one of the things they talk about in the Great Reset at the World Economic Forum. He basically taxes oil and gas so punitively, it's going to stop people from heating their homes and driving. Is this part of a global thing? Is any other country going along with this Great Reset? China certainly isn't. They're going full tilt. Are we the only people stupid enough to do this, Franco?
Well, you talk about misery, and I'm in Calgary, and I know all Canadians are struggling, and I know all Canadians have been struggling for the last few months. But in Calgary and Alberta, I mean, we've been struggling for the last 5+ years. And it's really sucks to have these conversations with my fellow Albertans. When I hear about families who are struggling to put groceries on the table, who are burning through their savings. I talk to small businesses frequently, and I hear that they're not sure whether they're going to be able to fully recover from this, right? They're hanging on by a thread. Our economy's hanging on by a thread. And unfortunately, we hear this new news, which amounts to a lie from the Trudeau government, that they're going to be hiking massively the carbon tax, right? And it's really just another kick to the shins while we're already down, while we're already hurting. We talk about Alberta. We've already seen the No More Pipelines law the discriminatory tanker ban, and of course, moving the regulatory goalposts on energy east, rejecting Northern Gateway. I mean, you really can go on and on and on. And I think that's why Albertans are really feeling a lot of the pain. I know all Canadians are feeling pain right now, and this carbon tax hike is certainly going to increase that pain, but it's really going to do a lot of harm to Alberta's economy.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.